A beautiful afternoon to you and welcome to the program Business This Week, where we take critical analysis into the economic dynamics, what's happening on the Nigerian economy today, or rather yesterday, today, tomorrow. So much more to talk about on a daily basis. I am Lawrence Osifo, your anchor, and we're broadcasting live from our Benin Network Center. On today's edition of the show, we'll be delving into the Nigeria's oil and gas sector. State of the nation will be x-raying the Nigerian oil and gas sector, the challenges, the opportunities, the future, and the way forward. Now, the Nigerian oil and gas sector remains the backbone of the nation's economy, contributing significantly to the government revenues, foreign exchange earnings, and employment. But despite its importance, the sector has been plagued by numerous challenges, including fluctuating global oil prices at the international market, infrastructural deficit, regulatory uncertainties, and corruption. In recent years, the push for energy transition and the global shift towards renewable energy have also posed new challenges and opportunities for Nigeria. As we navigate this turbulent time, it is crucial to take a closer look at the current state of the Nigeria oil and gas sector, assess the impact of recent policies, and explore the way forward for sustainable development. So on today's edition is a special edition where we'll be delving deep into Nigeria oil and gas sector with industry experts and stakeholders to discuss the pressing issues, evaluate the sector's performance, and identify the opportunities that lies ahead. I have my guests joining me virtually, one from the United States and another from Germany. I have Dr. Kenua Obasaki, a global affairs analyst, joining me live from the United States of America. And I also have Dr. And I also have Dr. Benjamin Mayo joining me virtually also from Germany. Good afternoon, Benjamin. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, good afternoon.
All right. And good afternoon, Dr. Kenua Obaseki. Good to have you join me on the show this afternoon.
Good morning from my side.
Okay, so Doc, let me begin with you. Now, can you help us, or rather provide an overview of the current state of the Nigeria oil and gas sector? Though you're not here in Nigeria, but I'm pretty sure you have so much expertise and experience about oil and gas sector, how it's been happening. Just give us a run through to some of the major challenges we're facing today in the Nigerian oil and gas before I go to Benjamin.
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. Well, the oil and gas industry is really suffering. It's a dire situation, and Nigeria are really suffering the effect of bad policies. So, as I always said, I feel so sorry for even this current president because the damage to the Nigeria oil and gas industry is enormous, tremendous, and all he can do is to start doing what I call damage control. How do we get Nigeria back on track? That is zero refinery. There is no refinery working right now, and the only refinery that we are all hoping on is just the Dangote refinery, a man I respect a lot. I have a tremendous respect for him. I think is one of the few most patriotic Nigerians alive today. For having that courage to build a refinery when everybody is shying away. If if not for Dangote, there will be no refinery. You will just keep importing finished product when we have when we are crude oil when we are a crude oil supplier. So the damage I talk of is this what Buhari did to Nigeria. All the oil leases that he gave out on borrowed money, and to the extent now Dangote has to go and import crude oil. Do you know what that means? That's extra cost, and they are all passed on to Nigeria, and then loss of jobs and so many things. So what Tinubu should have done at the beginning is to try to repair the four refinery. This is not a serious problem to repair dilapidated refinery. There are the refineries working all over the world. Why is Nigeria refinery not working? I mean, if I were to be Tinubu, I will first of all fix those refinery. I will bring in the military and tell all the workers there to go home. And then I will
That's a
contact,
strong one.
pardon me?
I said that's a
Yes, I will,
strong one, bringing in the military to tell
yes,
all the workers to go home.
to go home. Exactly. That's what I will do. I will call on foreign oil producer like Amadi and some other company, those who have similar refinery. Ask them to fix the refinery. Until the refinery is working, no worker is going to get in there. And once it is working, then we start the hiring process to find out what is wrong. How can we maintain the four refinery? And I will then go into the process of selling those refinery. What do I mean? Issue, form a new company, issue shares, and then let it become a public company with the government maybe retaining like 5% or 3%. I will personally buy shares from that company. The problem is that government cannot operate a refinery. NNPC or any other government agency, they have not been able to. The four refineries are totally down. What does that tell you? That we are incompetent. You need to bring some people who are competent. If it is a private company, oh, people will sit up. Chevron is making money, Shell is making money, all the others, they are making money. Only the NNPC that is still struggling, and that's basically the problem. But Buhari, I mean, Tinubu can not keep going on like this because Nigerians are suffering. They are suffering. Zero refinery.
Okay.
So I let you
Okay,
also.
Doc. Let me hold you there so I can join Benjamin. Now, Benjamin, you heard Doc already laid a foundation stone to this conversation about oil and gas sector, tying it to refineries that are not working, which is not one problem, but the major problem. Now, how has the global shift towards renewable energy impacted the Nigeria oil and gas sector, and what strategies are in place to adopt to this transition? Because we're seeing now that in some countries, they are already bringing out electric vehicles, solar vehicles, and we are oil dependent country. Is this not a threat to the Nigerian state?
Thank you for having me. I would first of all like to correct one impression. I'm not a doctor yet, but thank you for the elevation.
Okay, okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor yet. I hope to become one soon.
Okay.
The oil and gas sector in Nigeria is one of the most critical sector in the Nigerian economy. And if you look around the Nigerian economy, it's actually built around the oil and gas sector, which have been a major issue affecting the Nigerian economy over the years. And and just give me a sec. Can anybody hear me?
Go ahead. I can hear you clearly.
That's that's okay. It has been a major sector that even our budget is built around it. And mere looking at that particular sector, if Nigeria want to thrive and succeed or rather be successful as a government, we first of all need to fix the oil and gas sector because that is one of our major uh, uh, revenue generating sector in Nigeria since we discover oil in Nigeria. When
Yeah.
you look at that particular sector, the reason why it's actually not moving forward is because of some policies that have been put in place by previous government and the present administration. And corruption have also been part of the major problem that is affecting the sector generally. And like a question you rightly pose, why looking at other Western world and other countries moving away from fossil fuel and shifting away from oil and gas sector, bringing out electric cars and other renewable energy products. Most of the Western world, I can say, we are actually the government have actually put a policy in place that will make the citizen to adopt the idea of having an electric car, uh, like the word Nigerians normally use called subsidy. These are part of the program the government put in place so that the citizen can be motivated to go into in renewable energy. So most of these houses you see here in abroad, they are no longer depending um, on the on the power grid from the national grid and all that. You see, most houses have beginning to make plans for them to install the renewable energy in their private home for commercial areas and utility areas, just to move away from fossil fuel. I believe if you permit me, I would say Nigerian is far lacking behind, and we are not even following the trend. First of all, Nigerian government needs to start looking at what is trending and how they can
Absolutely.
move away from this fossil fuel in less
Yeah.
than 5 to 10 years time. Because if we do not, most of the product that's going to be coming into Nigerian will be an outdated product, and
True.
most of the like these electric mobile that we are cars that we are having here that we are driving, like it's even more efficient for us. Those cars cannot be imported into Nigeria. And don't forget, we only have one company that produces cars in Nigeria, which is the Innoson and the rest of them who are producing our own cars and all that. I think
That's
the
true.
government itself need to go into, need to start developing the renewable energy sector, encouraging the Nigerian citizen to adapt into the renewable energy sector. And there are so many healthy benefits that comes along with it. When you look at the renewable energy sector, when you talk about the renewable moving away from the fossil fuel, it does not give an environmental risk. There is no environmental risk, there is no oil spillage and
That's
all
true.
that and the rest of
Yeah.
it. So when you look at it, it's healthy. When you talk about the renewable energy, it's healthy, it's more reliable, and it's more efficient,
That's true.
and that will be able to cut down so many excesses
Yeah.
which the government have have not been able to do. It's not that they have not been able to do it. It's like a policy that they have put in place just to benefit some individuals
Some
in the country.
individuals. True.
Exactly. And I want to put it to you, whether you take it or not, the power problem in Nigeria is something that can be solved in less than 6 months. It can be solved in less than 6 months. How can it be solved?
Absolutely.
When you talk about renewable energy, these are finished products that have been produced in so many parts of the world. It's like when you buy an electronic, buy a
Yeah.
TV, a TV set from a shop. You bring it home. All you just need to do, you follow the manual, you plug it on your socket, then you have your TV set. You connect it, and then you start having stations. That is how renew most of these renewable. Even when you talk about this wind energy, biomass, solar, and the rest of them. How many can you name? Those things can be replicated in Nigeria at a go. And I can tell you as it's funny because that is the sector where I belong to. I belong to
Yeah.
the green renewable energy sector. I can tell you how many solar panels that you need to have a 1 mega power station in every local government. I can tell you how many uh, energy storage batteries that you need that can power that can be able to store that power for that 1 mega power station that can supply. They can even supply to the resident and the remaining one supply to the national grid. All those things can be done in less than a few months. Like I said, we Nigerians and Nigerians government, any government that come in today has his or her own policy. By the time
Absolutely.
they begin to find their steps, putting these policies in place, 1 year is already gone.
Okay.
Trying to find their feet, 2 years is already gone. And they have 100% failed in their political promises. That is where we are. And when another political party comes, another government sector,
Yeah.
that one is also coming with his own policy. There is no continuation. There is no culture of continuation of another administration policy. Like what we have in Edo State, what Governor Baseki has done by putting up a 30 years development plan. Putting up this plan, we expect the next government that to come to
To
look at this
follow
30
step
years
with
development
what is on
plan
ground.
and follow
Yeah.
steps. Like what I hear most of these candidates are talking and all that. Sometimes I hear Dr. Asu of Igodalo of the PDP say, I'm not saying that Godino Baseki have done excellently, done everything or excellently well, but there are some areas that we cannot take the credit away from him. We can also see some area where he's slacking. These areas need to be coordinated and move along with it. If another
Absolutely.
government comes in today and decide to say, oh, there is a project that was being done in Igelegele and it has been abandoned. That is how you find abandoned project in all areas. In the oil and gas sector, if you look at it right from the 1999 since democracy returned to power, if you look at the figures that have passed through that sector, and you begin to ask yourself, why are we still in this particular position where we are in our economy? And Nigeria is depending on oil and gas sector, not minding that we have an arable of land that we can diversify economy by going into the agricultural sector, mining, and the rest of them. All
Absolutely.
those things need to be put in place. And if you
Okay.
want to carry the whole Nigerian along
All
and
right.
let everybody be at peace, you need to build the confidence and trust within the Nigerian people. Thank you.
Okay, I would say something about the megawatts we're producing as an energy country, a country that is blessed with so much resources, both what we need to generate electricity, but we're not doing that. Maybe I'll come when I come back to you again. I'll talk about that. Now let me go to
Okay.
Dr. Obaseki. Now let's assess the petroleum industry bill, which is now an act, PIA 2021, its implementation so far. Can we actually say that the implementation of the PIA 2021 has brought about the expected reforms we need in our oil and gas sector? Because the reason behind that bill, which is now an act, was the fact that so much were happening in the Nigerian oil and gas sector which weren't playing too well. So now we have the Petroleum Industry Act, formerly a bill which has been assented to by the presidency of ex-President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, can we now say that this act in itself has lived up to expectation since 2021? No, since it was assented to by the president till date in the oil and gas sector?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Let me add to what Mr. Mayor
Okay.
already said about
Okay.
this renewable energy. Myself, by the time we finish, I'm going to send you the solar car that I designed with my partner here. We tested it here in America, and you will see my daughter, actually driving solar car that is capable of going say, from Benin to close to Ore,
Wow.
at
From
night. And
Benin to
during the
close to
day,
Ore.
you don't need exactly. During the day, you don't need
Fossil, normal fossil
to
fuel.
charge it because it is solar as long as
Yeah,
the
solar.
sun is up. Okay, but you don't just put it on the road because I have almost for 35 years of auto industry experience, But you see, the whole world is moving away from this gasoline or what you call PMS driven cars.
True.
If you just go and Google it, by the year 2030, GM will have 50% of its vehicle on the road running on electricity. By the year 2035, which is 11 years from now, the gasoline driven car will be completely phased out. And Nigeria will then, I don't know what's going to happen to Nigeria, but there will still be some petrochemicals, being produced, but it will become like this coal industry, Nkalago, Enugu coal industry.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that.
That is now
And
moribund. Nobody is talking about it again today.
Exactly. We are
Yeah.
all frightened. We are all frightened because Nigeria is really not moving ahead. And our universities, they are playing no part at all. I use the word, the Nigerian University and Polytechnic, they are useless. I'm trying to speak English here. I'm not saying they are inferior,
That word
but
is
they
too
are
strong
useless.
for us to use on a national television, sir. So let's try as much as
Well,
possible to use some
well,
languages that are
when
allowed.
I say you, when I say useless, because the country is not developing, it's not using them. If you are not using something, it's useless. You have them, but you are not using them. It's not an insult.
But they keep
You see, you
producing
have
graduates on daily basis from the engineering
exactly.
faculties and different departments in engineering.
You are producing them. Nigeria is really not using them. What does that tells you? It's useless. If I have to go to school for 4 years only to come out and be at home, my education is useless. That is what I mean. It's not inferior. I'm a beneficiary of Nigerian education. We
Okay.
need to use
Okay.
our graduates more to develop the country. But then to come back to PIA, which is the Petroleum Industry Act, whatever that means, I do not see any benefit. It has not yielded any benefit because Nigeria is still suffering. Whatever name you call it, as long as no refinery is working, as long as the gasoline is still being purchased at 900 naira per liter, I mean, in a petroleum producing country, that's a shame. Okay, I don't I don't care whatever you call it. So, and that would be my answer to that. It has not yielded any benefit at all.
Okay.
Nigerians are very good at coming up with all these big policies, which they cannot implement. Tell, Osadeba, I will send him the video where
Okay.
my daughter was driving the solar car. It can be on the road. Those are the areas we should be moving toward because this oil industry is going to be obsolete, and I feel sorry for the Niger Delta people. The place is so polluted now, and nothing is, and we are not getting the benefit. Well, that's that.
Okay. Let me move back to Benjamin. Benjamin, I was telling you that I'll come back to you. There was something I saw this morning during my first morning TV program from the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adilabu. He said it is shameful that a nation like Nigeria, we are producing or we are all using 5,000 megawatt of electricity of more than 250 million citizens. So that struck me personally because the truth is, if you say it is shameful as a minister, it means you have a lot to do as a minister. But the problem now goes back again to the source where we can generate electricity from, because they will tell you they need gas to generate electricity from the Gencos, the Discos. Everybody in the energy power sector will tell you it is gas that is needed. They are not getting gas. They are not. Is it more now like there's a sabotage in? Can we now say there's a sabotage in the oil and gas sector, which is actually stopping the Ministry of Power in quote, or the discos or the generation companies to distribute electricity? Because in today's Nigeria, if you're not in so and so band, you won't get up to say 15 hours of electricity per day. In some places, they ration electricity. They give you for 3 hours, they take it for 10 hours, just like that. So could we attribute it to sabotage in the oil and gas sector?
Like I rightly stated from the beginning, there are three major concerns.
Yeah.
There are three major issues that concerns the oil and gas sector.
Okay.
One is this oil theft and sabotage.
Yeah.
And secondly, which has to do with, I will have even called it the first and the major one, which is corruption,
Okay.
And the third one is the lack of good policies that will yield good result in a short term, and that can also last long for as a long term plan. If a minister of that status is coming forward to make such claim, I wouldn't be in, it wouldn't be a shock to me
Okay.
because Nigerians sometimes there are some news you hear from Nigerian. You'll not be looking at yourself. You'll not be asking yourself, is Nigerian a comedy station? And which most of the times, even those who are giving us home here to stay, they tell us, why are you guys living here in abroad? Why you guys are richer than us? They tell us face to face. Sometimes you go to some company, say you are looking for a job, and they continue to ask you, why did you left your country to come here? Because what you guys have, we don't have 10% of it.
Can you
So
imagine?
yeah, that is the truth. The sabotage in the oil on the oil sector in Nigeria is a pressing issue. All the illegal activity, bunkering and here and there, are major determinant why the sector is not progressing. And don't forget, when a crime is being committed, there is somebody that is saying it. There is somebody that hear. There is
That's
somebody that
true.
have the information. When you don't share, when you don't release the right information to the right authority, that crime will continue to go on as long as the people want to do it.
More
And don't
like
forget,
aiding and abetting the crime in
aiding
itself.
and abetting. So every crime in the world is not just committed by one person alone. It's committed by
Absolutely.
one or two persons. Because if you
That's
see,
true.
you do not say anything, you are also aiding and abetting. Just like here in Germany where I live, when somebody is committing a crime, we don't just wait for police to come and do their policing job. It is also your right for you to pick up a phone and call the
Give
responsible
information to
agencies
the
and
police.
give the information to the people. And people
Yeah,
are not afraid to be an eyewitness. They
that's
will
true.
stand and wait for the police to come and give police a full account of what happened. So these are the things that happens in Nigeria. And another problem we face in Nigeria is that when you decide to give out information now, one, your life is at stake.
That's
Two, if you
true.
do not belong to the
The
ruling
biggest
class,
of them all.
it's the biggest. Your life is at stake. And if you do not
Yeah.
belong to the ruling class, your SME business or small thing that is putting food on your table is also
Your
at stake.
family and your relatives, their lives are also at
Exactly.
stake.
Exactly. Your political
Yeah.
opponents are going to come for it. These are the major determinant that the reason why you see that the oil and gas sector is not moving forward. Let me come to what my very dear elder brother in America said. Well,
Yeah.
you made mention of the PIE Act, which is the
Petroleum
Petroleum
Industry Act 2021.
Industrial Act that was signed in
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
That particular act was actually designed to address some issues in the
Issues in the
midstream
oil
and the
and gas
downstream,
sector.
exactly, in the
True.
midstream and the downstream area, which has to talk about the regulations and all that, and the investment and the exchange and all
Yeah.
that, and the operation within the
Okay.
industry.
Okay.
Originally, it was supposed to attract foreign investment into the country, and at the same time streamline operations within the industry and the rest of it and all that. But I can tell you, since that time, it's just like, most of those things in Nigeria, it exists only on papers, but you don't see them in a practical form.
In
So that is what has
reality.
been happening. Exactly. You don't see the reality. So these are the things that have been happening in Nigeria. I want to tell you, you can take this to anywhere and you will be very surprised. The crime and the irregularity and the corruption in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria is not just within Nigeria, it's across the world. It's, it's a crime, let me just say, it's an international organized crime. You
Crime.
remember
Yeah.
the 2000, during the 2023 general election, when
Labour
Labour
Party.
Party came out and said, oil is not something that you can steal from a shop and put in your pocket and you
Absolutely.
go out to
Someone
the
also
shop.
said that recently.
Okay. This is something that is like a ship just come into our water space. It come into our water space, dock, waited there for like 3 months to 4 months,
For to
load the
bet.
ship back, load to its brim, and the ship will just stroll away out of our water space. We have the Air Force, we have the Navy, we
We
have
have
the
the Navy.
Nigerian Army, we have the
Yeah.
police, we have the civil defense, which Nigerian security and civil defense, which is even saddled with the
The
responsibility
responsibility of protecting infrastructure,
protecting
the national
infrastructure,
assets.
especially the pipeline. And you
Yeah,
also have private security organization that is being employed by the federal government to watch over our pipeline. And yet, this crime keep persisting. It's not reducing, it is only increasing. In Western world, they say you cannot kill crime. Crime can only be reduced. You understand?
absolutely.
But in Nigeria,
Yeah.
it's another way around. What I'm trying to say is that today, regarding the technology that the world have acquired today, oil in the oil and gas sector is not something that we supposed to be complaining that is missing. It's not supposed to be something that is going it's not a car, it's not going to be loaded on trailer and just walk away. No. This is something that people comes into the country. I'm not saying there's not going to be local small bunkeries and all that, which is normal. And this local bunkery that is being done by this the bunkers, it's just for them to to move along and it's still so within the country. But for a
That's the
ship
truth. Yeah.
to move into our water space, load, and that's the reason why I said the problem we have is the oil set and the sabotage. There are some special people who are specialized in sabotaging our economy through the oil sector. So if you want
Okay.
to solve that particular problem, it's not something that you need to go far before you can solve it. That
Okay.
is what is called sky monitoring technology. You monitor them day and night. And I can tell you this technology, they're already there in Nigeria for you to be surprised about that. You don't need to be surprised about it. It's not only Dubai that have it or something. Nigeria have it and it's there in Abuja. It monitors every oil wells, every oil
Yeah.
field, every oil areas, even the pipeline. And they can see activity going on there live and direct. And this activity need to be reported to the security agencies who are supposed to carry out the arrest and all that and prosecute them. But you don't see all those things on the mainstream. You don't see all those things on the mainstream media. So that's when I hear our Nigerian economy is having problem. I see it as a song, or rather like a national anthem, a corruption national anthem that we are
That
using.
is being sung
We
on
know
daily
how
basis.
that's being sung on a daily basis. It depends who
Yeah.
is the choir leader to be singing it. You understand? It just depends who is the choir leader, who is singing it, who is taking the lead. It's
Absolutely.
something that we can see now. You don't need to go to the pipeline and monitor it.
Yeah.
You don't need to go and send people carrying guns and all that. No, you don't need to. There is a technology that is already existing in Nigeria. I am telling you, go and find out. It's already existing in the Abuja that monitor all the oil areas. But I can tell you how much there was some amount of money that Goodluck Jonathan actually invested on that. But is it yielding any interest? No. That is why I tell you that it's corruption and all that. But
Okay.
like I said, the government is not transparent. The
Yeah.
government is not truthful to the citizens of Nigeria. The government is not carrying Nigerians along.
Alone.
And I am telling you, we are depending on oil. In less than 10 to 15 years, you will find out that as a world that continuously moving away from fossil fuel,
Yeah.
Nigeria will keep lagging behind in the economy, which is having direct effect because it's only our product and
That
our
seems to
source
be
of
the
income
only
that
hope we
relevant.
have as a nation.
Exactly. Because we are
Okay,
building
let
our
me
budget around
let
it.
me let me go to Dr. Obaseki now. Now, Doc, in terms of infrastructure and infrastructural development, what do you think are the key areas that need urgent attention in order to boost productivity and efficiency in the oil and gas sector? Because, like he said, it seemed like our only major source of getting foreign exchange, the only trade we are known for right now as a nation, it's crude oil. It's either we are selling or we are exporting it out. No
We are
more
buying.
agriculture, nothing. It's just crude oil and all that. So, in terms of the infrastructure in that area, what do you think are some key areas that need urgent attention in order to boost productivity and efficiency in the oil and gas sector?
Well, that would be agric, because you are now talking about revenue. You know, without agric, for I don't see any reason why Nigeria is really not food sufficient. And you know, if you are able to harvest 1 billion tubers of yams today, Nigeria will have nothing less than $3 billion. There are people outside ready to buy them.
Yeah.
Those are things you don't need technology, you know, to produce. You see, we are also fixated on this oil. Oil must come. As we've already analyzed and stated, by the year 2035, oil will be obsolete. And then life would become harder for us than it is right now. So, what we need to do is to divert some of our effort into agric. This is exactly what Ugbemudia of blessed memory, 2004, I had invited him to give a presentation on infrastructure. Instead, he went into agric and sports. Is still right there. So many people like Chief Sekure and the OJ of Ora, they all can attest to what I'm saying. So if we continue to rely on this oil and gas, oil is we are going nowhere. It's not happening now. But as a quick remedy, I stated this earlier. Just fix the four refineries. Once you fix the four refineries, they will be producing. You will have more jobs. At least that will carry Nigeria till 2035. When the oil industry becomes obsolete, it's going to be obsolete. There is no way, there is no two way about it. Because right now, all the auto industry, many of them have attained about 20%, 30% uh, uh, electric cars, and GM 50% by 2030. By 2035, it will be zero, and it will just be 100% electricity. So where will we be? So to answer your question, as a quick fix,
Yeah.
fix the refinery to carry us till 2030 or
Okay.
2035 thereabout. And then while that is going on, we start developing alternate energy. Like I said, I already sent the solar car that I designed with my partner
Okay.
to Sadeba, and
All
then
right.
let him share those videos with you. You will see my
Okay.
daughter driving that solar car that can go from Benin to Ore. But you can still work on that. That will be research. That's why I said we challenge our universities and polytechnics, and then the government can sit down, get a policy. There is nothing that prevents us from having an auto industry to produce more cars and put people back to jobs. You see, Inosu alone, I call Inosu like a hobby industry because they don't employ more than 30,000 or 50,000. When you start talking of 200,000, 300,000, we are 210 million people. It's very, very frightening. When I visit home, I see so many unemployed people. These are graduates. You see,
That's true.
you hurted me. Don't use the word useless. You see, when you go through school 4 years and you're at home, what does that tell you? That your education is useless. Your certificate is useless. It's either it's useful or it's
Oh,
useless.
it's useless. Okay.
You see, and we have so many of them. And once Nigerians leave home, they are here. Oh my God,
They do better.
we we are we are number one. We have
Exactly.
the highest graduate in the US. You know, I retired from the Mercedes Benz, formerly
Yeah.
General Motors.
General Motors. Yes.
That's where I retired from. So I see these things and I am pained. I'm pained because I know that 2030 life is going to be horrible for Nigeria. You cannot even go there because there will be no auto to run on fossil fuel, where will we be?
Okay.
You guys should be concerned, especially you in the media,
Yeah.
unless you educate the masses about what lies ahead for them.
Okay.
You will find out we find ourselves in a situation, it will be too late.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a little bit emotional
We just
about
hope we don't get to that situation where it will be too late. Okay, Benjamin, let me come to you now. Looking at how the oil price fluctuates in the international market, because every year when we draw our budget as a nation, we categorically base the budget on the benchmark of oil price in the international market. Don't you see this fluctuation in the prices of crude in the international market, call it Brent, WTI, all the names you want to call it? Recently, we actually saw a new grade. They said a new grade was gotten from the Nigerian grade, the Utapate, one of the best crude grade in the world. Again, we've been able to get another grade out of the good ones we have before, Brent, Bonny Light, name them. So don't you think the prices fluctuation in the international market can actually also be a problem with the way we draft our budget? We coin it around the benchmark of price of crude oil at the international market. Is that not a threat?
It is a threat,
Okay. Yeah.
but we are human beings. These are human errors, and it
Yeah.
can be corrected. These are is it error of omission or one thing or the other? We can actually correct them. Um, when you are drawing up a budget, you draw a budget based around what you want to sell
Yeah.
and your expected income within that physical year. So when you look at Nigeria and over the years, we have been drawing our budget around just the oil sector, just around
Absolutely.
the our crude oil export and the rest of it. And when you
Yeah.
when you look at it, that's why you see the Nigerian economy today is totally in shambles because we were surviving because of the subsidy that was on the oil,
Removed.
on
Okay.
the
Was on
exported
it.
crude oil that was on it. So when the subsidy was
It was
removed,
eventually removed.
immediately Nigerians felt the impact, and they are still feeling the impact to this very moment.
And they will continue to feel the impact too. That's
We
just the
will continue
truth.
to feel it until another element, until something is being put in place to cushion the good people
Yeah.
of Nigeria.
The remover.
Let me analyze it this way. I am a business manager,
Yeah.
and I am talking out of experience. When you are
Okay.
running a budget of 200 million,
Yeah.
and your expected income within that year is around that kind 250, 260. Inside that 200 million budget, you already have what is called operating expenses and the rest of it. You
Okay.
understand? When you
Oh yeah.
find out that this budget is not realizable,
Okay.
there is what they call it, I don't even call cut your coat according to your
According
size.
to your size.
Cut your coat according to your size. What the government supposed to have done is to go back to the drawing board
Yeah.
and check their internal and external spending.
Spendings.
With this, they will be able to run the economy, run the government, run the administrative of the government
Okay.
without hindrance, without complaint from any corner. For example,
All right.
we said the price of the crude oil is going up and down. Now, let me tell you, it's not going to go up.
Okay.
Whether there is war in anywhere because of the war in Ukraine and
Russia,
Russia and all that,
Ukraine,
there is war in
Gaza,
Asia and all
name
that,
all of them.
which is normal. It's okay. There have never been a time in the war there is no war. There is
Yeah.
war in Iraq. After Iraq, they went to Libya. After Libya, now they are in Ukraine. After Ukraine, they are now moving. They are now
They are
moving
moving to another
Israel and
oil-rich country again,
so
just like that.
So in Africa, there have always been war, eternal
Yeah.
war that is being that is not shown on the international media. We are the one
All
fighting
right.
it ourselves. But so anybody tells you that the price of the crude oil is going to increase, that person is telling you the blatant lie. It is my own opinion. It is my suggestion.
Okay.
It is my advice to the government that the government should learn to diversify. Diversify in the sense that government should learn to diversify by going into the agriculture. So let me tell
Okay.
you.
Benjamin, we are pressed for time and we need to go.
Okay.
Just your closing remark in less than 30 seconds so I can get the closing remark of Doc before we wrap up.
All right. Like I said, I want to advise the Nigerian government. Maybe my voice might not be heard to where they are
It will
or
be
something,
heard,
but
definitely to be
I
heard.
am telling you, the best thing to do is to cut our spending. For
Okay.
example, those big cars that we are running, buying private jet. Like 2 days
Yeah.
ago, I heard that there are the government in somewhere sees our government aircraft and all that. All those
Okay.
things need to be called down. There is too
Okay.
much waste in this government.
In
That is the
government.
only way we can
All
manage
right.
the Nigerian
All right. I'm
economy and
already
move forward.
getting signal from my presentation director. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Benjamin, for your thought and insight. Dr. Kenowa, in less than 30 seconds, your closing remark before we wrap up. Are you there, Doc?
That, yeah, yo.
Your closing thought in less than 30 seconds so we can
Yes,
go. We are
yes,
pressed for
yes.
time.
That we now diversify, like my partner said,
Okay.
diversify to go into agriculture.
All right.
Agriculture.
Okay.
Target
Thank you.
agriculture, you can get billions of dollars, not just
Okay. Thank you
oil.
very much, Dr. Kenua
Thank you.
Obasaki, Global Affairs
Thank
Analyst,
you.
for joining us virtually from the United States. I'm pretty sure it's the morning over there, so I can say good morning to you again. And thank you very much, Benjamin Mayo from Germany. Thank you so much for your insightful thought and insight on the discussion today. With time, we'll continue to engage with those of you outside the shores to give us give us thoughts on how we can run the Nigerian economy. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time on the show this beautiful afternoon. And that's the size of our package this afternoon on the show. I want to thank you for your time joining us from start to finish. On behalf of my entire team, those behind camera, we appreciate you for being a part of the show. I'm Lawrence Osifo, thanking you for watching. See you again. Bye for now.